turf.
Hey, but look, you're talking and we don't even know who.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing he's not doing that.
Right, exactly.
I like to see brothers going a different direction. Just because you live in the turf don't mean you have to be from the turf.
Hey, but look, you're talking and we don't even know who you are, brother. You gotta tell us who you are. And I'm sorry, we were getting through.
I thought I was going to get an introduction.
You were. I really want to introduce you, brother. And but you know, I wouldn't do you any justice. I just want to say I met this gentleman back. He was probably junior high school or high school. I was almost grown. I'm probably about 5-6 years older than him. But he was a force in the community. He ate the other Marcus that I knew. He was a skinny Marcus. He's in there somewhere, right?
I'm getting back to it.
Marcus, are you in there?
But he ate that person that I knew, right? But he was a force in the community. And as we talk about Jaye, this guy right here, he could have very easily been a negative influence as well and getting people to do negative things. But instead, he hooked into rapping and became one of All From the Eye and was signed with MACK 10. And, you know, he has platinum plaques on his walls, been on tour all throughout the United States. So, you know, he's definitely a friend of mine, SQUEAK Roo. SQUEAK Roo. That is right.
Yeah, SQUEAK Roo, All From Now.
Yes, sir.
Inglewood's most notorious.
Yes, sir.
But first of all, I'd like to thank y'all for having me. You know what I'm saying? So
thank you for coming.
You know, I feel blessed tonight.
Yes, sir. So every time, I just want to say, sister, every time I call him and ask him, and I don't call him but maybe every 3-4 years, but every time I call him, it's always, no problem. Yeah, no problem. So I appreciate him having the same number. A lot of people, I got to call people to get their new number. You know, and I just had it 6 months ago, but he has the same number, and I appreciate that. So I think that's why.
There are some people I put the year date by their phone number because it's like as of 2015, they had this number because 2016. It's not good anymore, so that's become a personal habit.
Well, but sister, the reason why he's here, and I have another guest coming as well, is because they come born and raised in Inglewood, and they made it out in the rap industry.
Yes.
The song that was playing had a verse on there by Big SYKE, and he too comes out of Inglewood, born and raised in Inglewood. And I met Big SYKE around the same time. He was a youngster in Inglewood and about 14, 15 years old when I met him, before the rap industry. And they come from different sides of Imperial, let's just put it like that. And I know one thing that happened is that either one of them could have been dead in jail or navigating the youngsters to do foolishness, but because of the music, the rap music that a lot of people are critical of, these guys are successful. They're not dead or in jail, and they're a positive influence where they could have been negative. So I appreciate you coming on, SQUEAK, and maybe we could talk about some of that. I'm get into more later, but just appreciate you being here and all of you've done for City of Inglewood.
Yeah, well, I know anytime you call, it's something positive, so, I got to answer the phone. And
I ain't going to call you and tell you I got jumped, man. Let's go get these dudes.
Well,
if you do, you're still going to answer the phone, I'm sure.
The phone. Yeah.
And the truth is, to be fair,
important about what they were saying at the time. Especially like, I think I was about maybe 16 or so when I started, when I first, because, I was listening to oldies, because that's what all my older homies was listening to. But
Stevie?
When
Motown?
Yeah, I was, then, my mom's, that's stuff she played around the house, but when I heard NWA and the stuff they were talking about, that was what was going on in my life, And I remember the first, one of the first songs I heard, I heard Dope, man. I didn't really like Cube, right? I didn't like it. I didn't like the song. I didn't even really like Boys in the Hood.
Hold on, sister. Listen to what he said. He said he heard Dope, man. He didn't like Cube.
Let me
just say that he has platinum plaques, goes on tour with Ice Cube.
But no, let me tell you what got me.
That's all right.
Let me tell you what got me. My homeboy Ripple.
Right, Ripple.
I came to the neighborhood. I moved away from the neighborhood, so I came to the neighborhood one day. Ripple had this gold Cutlass
Mark
on 520s. He came down the street, so he said he played this song for him. He said, "You heard this?" I'm like, "Nah, it was Gangsta."
Right.
And I heard that everything Cube was saying was on. It was like my life. So I was like, "Oh my God!" And I ran to the swap meet and I bought a cassette, and I just banged that single. I banged that single for like 6 months, just straight, and that just got me. Then that just listen, the rest of the records came out, when Easy came out with his record and the rest of the NW record. And I was just, It was just all NWA with me after that. And then even to that point, I knew what side of the tracks they was from, but I didn't even care. You know what I'm saying? It was just what they was talking about was my lifestyle. So that's another thing about music.
It transcends the communities. It doesn't have the boundaries.
Because it saved my life, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm every day I get up, I'm blessed. Like you said, I could easily be on the yard, or I can be in the Inglewood Cemetery. You know what I'm saying? So every day I get up, I'm blessed to be here. A lot of times, even when I'm going through stuff, I still keep a smile on my face. And even my girl can't even understand. She's like, I don't know how you don't get stressed out. As much stuff I've been through, and I'm still here.
Yes.
On my 40th birthday, I remember I cried. Wow. I just cried because I never thought that I would even make it to that age. Wow. And when that was just a milestone for me. So I was like, man, it was just, I just blessed. And when I go in the cemetery, I think about how long I could stay in there just visiting homies, and then when you start looking at some of those plaques at the age, and it gets you. You know what I'm saying? Like my homie Clee Dog.
Right.
When I look at Clee, because I was a kid, I thought Clee was like 40 years old, a grown man. But when I look at his thing, Clee was 25.
Yeah,
man,
I'm about the same age as Clee, or maybe he's a year younger than me, I think.
Yeah, but I'm saying 25, like he was like a kid.
Yeah. Babies. Yeah. Babies.
Yes. So I'm like, like you said, man, every day I give honor to God, man. I'm blessed to be here,
Yeah, and from that too, I know Cheryl, the guy's mom.
Yeah.
And he was murdered in 2000, and every time I see her, she knows that I'm gonna say something, so she just starts crying. She has not to this point got. I always tell her, how I thank her or whatever, and I just try to encourage her, and she just knows I'm gonna say something. She starts crying, so I think she really avoids me. We have our fundraiser every year, and I tell her sister Linda, man, please tell Cheryl to come, and she always says, Skip, she can't. She doesn't want to, and so I know that too was a friend of yours.
That was like one of my best friends, man.
Yeah.
That's somebody I used to try to, like you say, trying to turn around and get on the right road, man. Because the guy was a brilliant person. You know what I'm saying? And,
we've lost a lot of genius along.
58th and Western, the young man Tyrone. I don't want to call him a man because he didn't get a chance to be a man. He was a child. The young child Tyrone was killed Saturday night. And what's really critical, though, sister, is that prior to that, he was in a swap meet on Facebook Live.
Right.
And that's the thing that gets a lot of our young people, is that we have to stop, just like Kenny Peavy, that was killed last year, the 100 Days, 100 Nights. That it's really crazy, but he would purposely leave his phone on tracker. I could turn it off, the GPS, but he too would post where he is. Like, I don't want to say like a dare, but like, man, what?
But it is.
Yeah, but it is a dare. So, those are the things that I believe we got to get our young people to stop doing. I don't want to antagonize people to see how tough they are to come and shoot me, because the coward can shoot me. Right. Back in our days, no, you get a car full of people and you go over there, and now you going to fight him. And we see who's going to fight, and you better not run, and don't say you got jumped if you got beat up by one person. But nowadays it's not like that. So
it's past.
Well, the shame.
I got 4 boys, and my oldest he'll be 19 in next week. But I had the same incident with that social media. He was somewhere, and some other guys seen that some other guys was, they were on like a little turnaround bus thing, and same thing happened. The guys on the bus saying some stuff from social media. When they got to the destination, the other guys showed up. Now, my son had nothing to do with none of that. But he could have been just a casualty.
Yes.
Or it could have went the wrong way.
Yes.
And I pulled up on it, and I was kind of turned back to the old me for a second. And then when I approached everything, I looked at everybody. I was like, man, these is kids.
Right.
So, I kind of had to check my own self. And then, I started explaining to my son, like, hey, man, you can't go to everything. Can't be there,
Right.
Everything with the social media, everything, you got to watch where and that's one thing I found like even having a son that age, it was harder trying to keep him on a straight and narrow than it was my own self coming up. You know, so it's
well, since you put it that way.
Right. You know, because you know, I'm here to I'm supposed to teach you these things in life and teach you how to be a man, teach you, you know, what to do, what not to do, and then you know, being in the community that we live in, I had to find myself, you know, I had to teach him a lot about the street stuff, where you at, who you know, this how you handle your stuff around here. Don't wear that, you know. So it's because I'll be on him about hats. He be like, "Oh, is this hat all right?"
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you can wear that one, but because it's not on your mind. Because he plays ball, so I'm like, it's not on your mind, but it's on somebody else's mind.
Right.
Well, they're not looking at it like that. Because a lot of times
means everything. Yeah, man.
You know,
a hat tells me a lot.
Yeah,
I look at people wearing hats, and I pretty much can tell you where you're comfortable and what your affiliation is.
Yeah. You can read signs. That's huge.
I read signs. Yeah.
No, I'm telling you, I was in the airport the other day. The guy, I had the W hat on. He's all, you Nationals fan? Nah, man. You know, it's West Coast, man. That's what we wear it out here. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, oh, okay. I said, well, I'm a Dodger fan, though. You know, so he's like, all right, man. So I'm from St. Louis, man. You know, I'm like, okay, it's all good. You know, so that's like you said in the hats, you can tell, man.
Yeah, it means a lot. Yeah. So listen, talk about the industry, man. How many different people, you know, from different communities, man, come together, and is it ever a problem in doing a song? You know, like for example, you and Cube did songs and different sides of the tracks. Is it hard in the music industry working with people if you come from neighboring communities that have been at war with each other?
I don't think so. You might have certain individuals, but I think
because I saw you at the swap meet. Remember, you was at the swap meet one time. You had some dudes with you on Washington and 10th Ave. Remember, you was promoting a CD where there was Bloods and Crips together.
Oh yeah.
Reptables. Rep your set.
Yeah, rep your set.
Rep your set. And I'm looking at some of these guys like, boy, SQUEAK gonna be fighting for these dudes over here. Somebody gonna try to punch on them or something, and you gonna have to jump in the middle.
Nah, you know what? Because I took the same dudes. I took them to the park, and we rehearsed at the park, you know, and I just kind of felt that I had enough respect in my neighborhood to say, hey, man, I'm going to bring you guys in my neighborhood, and you're going to be safe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because, and I tell my homies that, hey, these guys looking out for me when I'm not in the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. So I want you to give them that, give them that respect. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times what I try to do with different guys from different neighborhoods, I try to introduce them to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, next time you see him, you over there, you might need him.
You might need him.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So this
the pass I give him now, he may be able to give me
another day
when I'm so.
Because I remember one time I went to a party. I went to a party with my girl. Right. It was her one of her best friends. It was her dude's party. Now he don't bang, but it's in Watts. So I'm like, yeah, it ain't too cool over, So she's like, no, it's all good. So he told me, hey, come on in, my whole family. She said, I grew up over here, don't worry about nothing. I said, all right, I'm in your hands, I trust you. Now, I happened to get in the party, I seen one of my homies, one of my younger homies. So he's like, oh, big homie. He said, what you doing here? I'm like, what you doing here? So he said, man, my girl worked with the guys. So I'm like, oh, okay. So he's like, well, man, I got my thing in the car. I said, nah.
Right.
First of all, I said, if it's in the car, it's too far.
Right.
So I said, but it ain't like that because I kind of know dude. So I said, he don't push that type of line. But next thing you know, the gate open.
They come in.
Once Grape Streets come in. So they kind of know me from the Rep Your Set thing.
Right.
What's up, Rue? It was all love.
Right.
Now, one of the guys from Rep Your Set, I happened to call. I said, hey, man, I'm over here. I tell him where I'm at. He said, it's all good, man. I know some folks over there. But if you need me, call me. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I've been in Long Beach in a couple of little clubs. Next thing you know, I see Big C style. Somebody, hey, that's Rube. Don't nobody say nothing.
Right.
That's the homie. And show you, and everybody embrace you and show you that love. You know what I'm saying? And Daz and KURUPT, my homie, one time they was on Inglewood Ave. And the homies was going bananas.
Serving spoon or something?
So they had somebody call me So I called. So I was like, "What's the what is that?" He's like, "Man, just come through here, man. I think your homie's kind of tripping." So I said, "All right." So I said, "What are y'all doing over there?"
And found
So,
a big
no, he's
baby
like,
girl
"Man,
or
I
something.
can't see my baby mama." So I'm like, "All right." So I slid through though. So I was like, "Look, homie, this the homie. He gonna be coming to see his kid." So that's just it. Y'all show him that because a lot of times when dudes see you you'll find this. You got them ones who want to make a name. So if they see you, if you on the record and you saying you about this and that, a lot of guys want to challenge that. You know what I'm saying? I do really hard. Is he really about what he says? So I try to introduce them to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So hey, next time you see him, you over there, you might need him.
You might need him.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So this
Or the pass I give him now, he may be able to give me
another day
when I'm. So.
Because I remember one time I went to a party. I went to a party with my girl. Right. It was her one of her best friends. It was her dude's party. Now he don't. So that was letting me know how music can touch a lot of different guys. Yeah. So dudes didn't even care about where I was from, none of that. They said, "Hey man, you get out on the mic. I like how you get out."
Right. You know what's funny is Big Y is pulling up. He's texting me. He's in the wrong. He did the same thing you did. He's in the wrong alley, cross street or whatever. But I was talking to someone yesterday, and I was talking about Big Y and all that, and I was explaining that CD they had, the Relatives, the Takeover, which was the baddest CD to me, period, that year, right?
Yeah.
And I said, but you probably don't know them songs because the area you grew up in. She said, man, all them Crip dudes was listening to that. I said, is that right? She said, it's music, man.
Music.
She said they still didn't like Bloods, but they loved them songs.
Hey,
you know,
one of my favorite songs is Snoop and Trady, 21 Jump Street.
Oh yeah.
And I know that's a hood song.
Right.
They talking about their hood, but the song's so clever and it's so dope.
Right.
I might change some of the words to fit me, you know what I'm saying? But the song is dope.
Right.
So I'm not gonna hate on the song because these other dudes. No, the song is dope.
Right.
And you have to appreciate that the creativity they have for that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, man, you know what I just found about?
What's that?
Mamas, the links.
Mm-hmm.
One of the homies brought some links to. We had a little get down. So somebody said, well, it's open on 4th Ave and Slauson. That's why you don't know about it.
Right.
But everybody seemed to know with me.
Yeah.
So
the chicken
I've been sneaking. It's the problem I kind of find with a lot of stuff is just the subject matter, and I guess it's because I've gotten older, so you have to. It's certain things I don't really see a lot of subject matter with certain artists. So I wish we could get back to that. You know, even when NWA came, they were coming with a subject, and it was about being repressed. So they this is what they were speaking on. You know,
how do your son feel about the music now?
You know what? He keeps me informed, kind of like on what's going on new, and the same with him. He likes a lot of older stuff too because he's stuff he's grown up on now, and then a lot of kids they'll be listening to something they don't know that's just a remake of it. You know, so I was trying to explain to them what it is. And he be like, "Oh man, that's such man. That was done 20 years ago."
Yeah, I was angry, but I love Nas. If I Ruled the World.
Yeah.
But Curtis Blow did that well before he did, and
Yeah.
So that makes
but I in the music, I wish we could my son like guys like Lupe Fiasco and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But he like YG also. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So he's kind of across the board with it. But I just think the subject we gotta get to a point where we're saying something. We can't just be all about just twerking and putting it in your mouth and all that. You know what I'm saying? So
think about that. Did he come out the first?
We was on that Connect record. That was 96. That's been 20 years.
Okay, so you also had something come out in 98, right?
County Jail when we first got our first single.
Right. I was in County Jail. Matter of fact, Dulo, Spider, Lil Spider, Taco was in there with us. So, and they were saying Squeak's album is out. Matter of fact, Elaine was saying, his album, and, so I get out, and that's when I first heard, know. So, think about that. Think about your mentality, though, in 96 and 98.
You know, around that time it was changing, man, because that's what I said. The music saved my life. I was just being associated with I didn't know how big Cube was at the time, man. It showed me a lot. Cause one, I was able to go a lot of places, even in the city, that I never thought I would be able to go.
Yes.
So that's another thing with Rep Your Set too. I was able to, only thing I knew was Inglewood. You know what I'm saying? So I was able to travel to different other neighborhoods and stuff like that. So it kind of broke those walls.
Keep that thought, man. We're gonna go to break real quick.
Okay, no problem.
You missed the song that we used coming in. It was All Eyes on Me, Big SYKE, his verse or whatever. And I know me and you talked, and a lot of people don't know the name that me and you talked about night before last. We was talking about mental illness. So, in most of Tupac's songs, he would always say, this is for Kato and mental and all that. And that was a friend of yours and definitely a guy I knew as well. So, the music in Inglewood before Tupac got to Thug Life, before they got to Evil Mind Gangsters. That's what they were. They were Evil Mind Gangsters with SYKE and Mental and Domino, I think it was. So, talk about some of that, the music back there. Even, for people who don't know, before the Relatives, there was the Young Soldiers and the Banging on Wax, and you was an instrumental part of that. And not only, started the whoop. I remember that too. I remember being at parties and hearing whoops and knowing who was in the house when I heard that whoop.
Yeah, we kind of got it going. Yeah, but Mental, man, me and Dude go way back. Like, he part of really my whole rap foundation. I was my homeboy, like my best friend in junior high, and he actually the dude that taught me how to rap.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody knows Fresh, though,
Right.
I played the back. I would beatbox, you know what I'm saying? And, because them dudes was hard back then.
Right.
But Marcel was the hardest. He was the smallest, but he was the hardest dude. Like, he was probably one of the hardest rappers up out of Inglewood.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it was like, it was proven.
Right.
Because when you meet up at the Hawthorne Mall and battling, it's from people from all around.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's how Mental. I'm gonna keep it real with you. If I'm not mistaken, Marcel is the one that gave KURUPT his name.
Oh, is that right?
Real talk.
Yeah, KURUPT said he would be here if he wasn't on tour. They in Montana tonight on the Puff Puff Pass tour.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I never really heard that from KURUPT, but I done heard it so many years.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So I know that, like, as you say, you played the background. I know SYKE did as well. SYKE is a good dude, and, he, whatever, but I know that was Mental's dream. That was Mental's vision to make that happen.
Yeah, because he was the one representing up out of their section over there. Like, you know what I mean? He was the one.
Right.
Anybody didn't know anything about anybody rapping coming from the village over there, it was him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He started off with us. We was the 10-4 B-Boys crew, but as time grew,
shoestrings changed.
We living over here.
Changed.
He living over there.
That belt changed.
We meet up in the 9th grade. He looking at me. I'm looking at him. I'm like, what you got on all that for? Like, he like, what you talking about? Like, you know what I mean? And then I didn't see him no more.
Man, that's how it is, though.
Next time I seen Marcel, he was walking down Imperial with blue overalls, with a blue rag, Angel Mama style on his head, with blue stars on.
Listen,
my first reaction was, Jesus Christ, what happened to you?
What happened to you?
Hey, look, but see, a lot of people don't understand that. And when I heard Tupac say, my only fear of death is coming back reincarnated, I knew I had heard that about 3-4 years before he said it.
Come on, man, all that stuff was Marcel Williams, man. Right. Like, that whole persona, like, he had a real strong, like, influence on Pac's whole being. But you can't say that that's where it came from. Marcel would just brought it out of him and made him like, and then knowing them dudes, they was a real big influence because that was their lifestyle, especially like SYKE and all them.
Right.
You know what I mean? And, to my knowledge, you know what I'm saying, they left that whole section out of the movie, you know what I'm saying? But I don't see how, you know what I'm saying? Because SYKE, that...
Matter of fact, Surge is supposed to be here. I don't know why he ain't called in. Big Surge, his sister got a cold name. We call her Big Booty Sheeta, lived on Imperial. So he was supposed to be here, but everywhere they went, Surge was there. He don't rap at all, but it would always be Surge, Minute, and then Paint started hanging with him as well.
Yeah, I know Minute, my homegirl. he had kids with my home girl.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? I know his kids real good. You know, his family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like that. Like, you know what I mean? Them dudes was cool, man. You know, they was, you know, from over there, but you know, that was about their bread, you know, and they was really doing their thing.
Yeah, really. I mean, when people was having hundreds of dollars, they was having thousands of dollars.
Yeah, like for real. Like, shit, I'm at SYKE at Death Row. You know, I mean, you know, when I first met him, it was like, yeah, all right. You know what I'm saying?
What'd you say? You don't impress me, man.
I mean, it was just like whatever, my nigga. You know, it's like I was young then. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I'm on a different thing right now, but it is what I is because I'm from where I'm from for real, like you know what I mean?
Right.
And yeah, but he didn't come off like that as an OG dude should, because he's older than me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And what's up, homie? You know what I mean? Like, you know, man, it's cool. Like,
was he happy to see you, Inglewood?
I mean, it was more. It was an open type of situation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, it was, you know, without even knowing, but he knew. You know what I'm saying? And then it was good for my ego that he knew what it was.
Right.
And where it came from. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you know, but it was like we was cool. You know what I mean? And then we would run into each other. I would pull up at the dairy.
Right.
So, boy, what you doing over here? Nigga, you know what I'm doing over here. I'm giving me some apple juice, nigga. Been coming to this dairy. He started laughing. Oh, yeah.
Well, y'all are funny. Come on, brother. Y'all are funny. Yeah, we just need to bring that humor back out of you because, look, our thing ain't funny, and we found a way to laugh at it, really. And you got to really. Come on.
I mean, you got to find the beauty in any beast that's somewhere, and that's the beast that we come from. You know what I mean? But overall, you know, you look past all the different things that we marginalized ourselves to, you know what I'm saying? You know, and it's the things that are so much fueled by ignorance. It's in our DNA now, but the reality of it is we're not going to be ignorant when it's, you know, you can meet people and do different things and be cool with dudes, and he was one of them, you know what I'm saying? The ones that don't want to, you know what I'm saying? That's not, I'm open to being straight up with anybody. Real, I always have.
Okay, so I'm gonna be open with you right now, because you know you are a major influence in our culture.
Right.
And when I say our culture, you know what I'm talking about. Our culture. Yeah. You are a major influence. You about.
Right.
And if you say it ain't right, and you put it in a rap song. You know, I was just telling SQUEAK that there's a girl that I talked to that come from Washington Park, the 8-9 East Coast, and I was talking about the takeover, and I was like, yeah, but you don't know nothing about that. And she said, man, my homeboys played that every day. She said that was always in their car. I said, what? She said the part they loved the most was I take 2 steps, slide like this. They was talking about, that was
that should be rewritten as part of the national anthem.
Right.
Hey, you do that anywhere, it's gonna go up.
Right. No, let me tell you what's
right. But just imagine dudes with blue shoes on talking about I take 2 steps.
That's the power of music, though.
Yes.
That's the art.
Let me tell you what's crazy. Look, one day I'm walking my dog, right? So dude, he's like, oh man, he said, man, what's happening, man? He said, oh man, man, me and my homies, you banging your stuff, man. We be banging your shit all the time, man. He's like, man, you know, I'm from the other side, homie, but we be banging your shit. So I'm like, all right. So he said, so we shook hands. He's like, I said, man, good. I said, you know, much love, homie. He's like, oh yeah, man. He said, man, wait till I tell the homies I met Big Y.
Right. Oh God.
Oh man.
Look, I said, right.
Okay. Hey, look, no, James Ingram told me a story like that. He said he was somewhere in the crowd and said, man, and they said, can we get your autograph? Oh, what were you doing taking pictures with Jeffrey Osborne?
Yeah.
And he said, that's who I am now?
Okay.
He said, okay, I guess I'll be Jeffrey Osborne.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna tell you something for real though. Like, I told SQUEAK a long time ago. You gotta remember, man. Like, I'm really from Inglewood. I'm not just from the bottom. Like, I'm from Inglewood, the whole city. I graduated from Highland. I lived on Venice Way. You know what I mean?
I didn't know that.
Come on,
and
man.
You lived in the Watergate.
Come on, man. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm from Inglewood, the whole part.
The whole city.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I went to Highland with Pookie when he got hit in the ear with the apple. Tiny Loco, like, and I told SQUEAK this too. Like, SQUEAK was the first dude I ever seen really rock a full khaki suit in a fashionable way that made me want to say, I'm putting my khaki suits in the cleaners.
Khaki.
I swear, I'm listening to tell you, bro.
Hey.
Brown, And a tan one.
Tan, yep.
Could nobody rock it like SQUEAK. And I'm telling, that's my homeboy, that's my nigga. I can tell him, and he older than me, so I can tell you that. And I see like every day, man. I'm telling you, like that's our culture. Like I grew up the whole thing. Like as time go on, and it's as you get older, it's easier to reconcile. You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, I'm cool with a lot of them dudes from over there in the Ville, especially like my boy JJ and Bernard. And, you know what I'm saying?
To my ghost?
Yeah, light-skinned JJ.
Bernard, I'm going to tell you what's crazy. My kids, actually, my twin boy, they go to Bennett Q.
My daughter went to Bennett Q.
It's right there it's all the way in the back.
I know where it is, but the freeway stopped people from going on the other side.
Now, look, I hadn't really been over around there. Out all these years in Inglewood.
Matter of fact, my daughter Woody Lane.
Yeah. I'll be rolling around there now. I'm like, man, this is a nice neighborhood.
It always has been.
Yeah. They got bomb little houses. Yeah. Like, this is nice.
Twisted, because it was like, you wouldn't, like, growing up from the outside looking in, you watch them in the IVCs going at it, and you would think, like, these dudes actually live around here?
Oh, you talking about the Watergates and IVC?
Yeah, because I seen that firsthand.
Yeah, I saw that too, and I went into when they told me when I started hanging out in the IVCs back in the 80s, they were saying watch out for the Watergates. So I went over there and looked, and I said, man, they got some beautiful homes over here in the Watergates, man. They 2-story homes and look like they got a mom and a dad.
Yeah, I still got a house over there. I still got my grandmother's house over there. Yeah. To this day, right now. Yeah, you know.
And that's something I be preaching to dudes now, man. Like, you know, you from where you from is where you from, man. You know what I'm saying? So when your parents moved, you know what I'm saying, moved to where they moved, they didn't move there so you could be from these certain hoods. So like why I'm saying a lot of us, we from different sides, but it's so much other things we have in common. These things we have, like you say, we live the same. We do the same thing. In some occasions, we hit the same stores. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So the only thing separating us, sometimes it's just a lot of the BS. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's what it is. So, like how you said, sister, we got to get to the views. You know, it starts in the home. You know what I'm saying? So,
let me say something here.
If it's not even the two parties that's getting into it, it's some real homies around these situations.
Right. Exactly.
That we all are not above or immune to. Nigga pull his coat to him like, come on, why? Like, come on, man, for real. Right. And then if you really, you know what I'm saying, if you really about that, you know what I'm saying, you about the respect too. You know what I'm saying? And then you start thinking like the role that you play in the situation. Exactly. You know what I mean? And then you willing to accept that, yeah, I was wrong. I'll take my part of it. All right, it is what it is. It is what it is. Especially when you really naturally homies. Right. You know what I mean? We wasn't meant to do each other like enemies. You know what I'm saying? Right. You know, this new generation got to learn that.
Wait, and you know,
don't mess with me or I have to. You know what I'm saying? I think that's how the subject has really gotten to.
It really is.
It's like, hey, look, I don't want to. Just don't mess with me or I might have to. So,
but the have to part has to stop.
Yeah,
look, fight, okay? Meet in the boxing ring. Build a gym. Okay, take it out on the punching bag. Just don't shoot. That's the part we got to get out of. Our kids don't deserve that. They don't deserve to have music tell them.
It's gonna be. This is everybody talk about the war and different things. This is just gonna be a war that the strong and the ones that really want to see it happen like that have to continue to fight. Yeah. Because one thing for certain in this life, it's always gonna be this and it's always gonna be that, and you got to deal with both of them. You know what I mean? Because that's just how it is. No matter how nice and comfortable we try to make things seem, it's gonna always be an ignorant mind doing ignorant stuff.
Yeah, because you got that these two individuals came in. I'm appreciative, Big Y, you know, the relatives, Young Soldiers, SQUEAK Rue, Westside Connect, and all from the eye. And truly grateful you guys came in. This was about SYKE, and like I said, I've been knowing SYKE since about 80, 81, and you know, his funeral's tomorrow, and just made me want to do something for him, you know.
I'm glad you did.
Rest in peace, homie.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, absolutely, because we appreciate Big SYKE coming to the radio show and letting us get that beautiful picture of him. And as I said, I listened to his latest post. I recognized his voice, and I loved what he was saying. So, God bless your family. I believe we're out of time.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we got a little SYKE coming on, too. What is it?
Yeah, there's that voice. I recognize him.
See, I told you, believe good things come to those who wait. But now Now that you got it, don't hesitate. My soulmate, I'm searching for it through the universe. You will come first, a lot of pressure, but it's worth every minute.